All right, people, how's it going? Today's I don't know, it's Tuesday, late November. It's irrelevant. I'll be uploading it today, so you'll see the date on it. I don't need to tell you what the day is. So yeah, but it is today, on the day I'm uploading it. That's the downside of lockdown, you kind of forget what the date is. You know, I vaguely know what the day of the week it is, but my days are generally pretty similar. So yeah, I'm back out in the woods. Thank you to everybody who watched the last video, that's appreciated. Got quite a few views. Yeah, see? Read that. I just think people need, if people are going to be jingoistic, you need like a jingoistic phrase, like 2 legs good, 4 legs bad. So yeah, here we are in woods. The river's at a lower level today. Take a look. Yeah. So yep, got all kinds of groovy stuff. I've started recording a Let's Play for Minecraft in my own style, if you can call it that, if lack of a style is a style. So yeah, that should be cool. Unfortunately, the visuals of Minecraft don't really allow for a picture-in-picture, because there's no part of the screen that you don't really need to see in order to figure out what's going on. There's lots of things that you see in the corner of the screen that you might spot that I didn't. So you know what I look like, so I won't necessarily need to do that. I might do another Let's Play later on with a picture-in-picture thing, but yeah, it's not that important. I'm not so nice looking that anybody wants to look at me, so that's cool. Hopefully my personality will come across in the Let's Play. So yeah, it's a bloody cold day, as you might guess. Nothing much in the world has happened. Well, the election in America got confirmed, and there's always stuff happening. It's always an attention sink. Think what it would be like if you could just sort of like say, oh yes, I can be rest assured that the people in charge of doing shit are doing the right thing and not, you know, imposing their will on other people or fucking up the planet. But we can't, so we get trapped into this attention sink where we can't retain something that's caused problems for more than a couple of days, and they know it. So yeah, can't these people just get on with their jobs, do the thing that they say they're going to do, and move on without being people whose heads are in the trough, trying to make money, gain power? We've really started to pick the wrong people for these jobs. You know, do you want someone that you like the look of, or someone that's going to make your life better, or someone that can talk a good game? You know, those are your choices, and what they look like is largely irrelevant. But what they've never been is interested in doing their jobs particularly, with a very few exceptions. You know, and even if they just did one legacy thing that made everybody's lives, you know, a significant number of people's lives better. And one of the interesting things I was talking with Rembimon about this morning when we were having a Discord chat, I feel minded to mention. The Equal Rights Act in the United States in 1923 has not as yet been ratified, as I understand it. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure when I looked it up, it hadn't as yet been ratified because everybody wanted to put in their amendments. And so they all agreed to disagree, and it never got ratified. And now we have a situation with, you know, Joe Biden has been confirmed president. You know, after the next midterm elections, which for people who don't know come up in the middle of a presidential term, and 35 out of 100 senators will run for re-election. We've got some running right now because they have a period of office of 6 years, and at the end of their 6 years they're re-elected, and they're staggered so that you don't get massive disruption and people coming into a job where they don't really know what to do. So a third of them, or 35 of them in this case, will run for re-election, which will be in 2022. Now, a year after that, it's 2023, which is 100 years after the Equal Rights Act was supposed to be put through and ratified. And it would be, you know, an amazing ethical achievement if one country in the world just went, right, okay, we've got to take this apart and start again. Because this whole idea of putting law upon law and it accreting like, you know, like coral. So where you start off with one coral polyp, you eventually end up with this giant complex, super complex thing. And would it really be so hard to make it a lot simpler? You know? Like the basic idea of taxation or the basic idea of law. You know? Without all this mindless shit. You know, all the, you know, you've got to really start looking at, you know, it shouldn't be that difficult for us. I mean, I know it's by design, but it would be a big step forward if your basic individual knew what the law was, right? Just knew what the law was. Simple, easy to understand. You know, and it would be a great thing if people knew what was expected of them tax-wise and where it went, which should also be an understandable thing. You know, because us, the majority of citizens, you know, the governed, who massively outnumber the governors, it's, you know, it's supposed to work for us, not against us in the main. The majority of people just want to get on with their lives, raise kids, do stuff, do the normal human things, express themselves, occupy all tiers of Maslow's hierarchy of needs and stuff like that. But we don't. You know, and there are basic being human skills, you know, the misunderstanding of which has caused most of the interpersonal violence. The failure to educate people to be parents, you know? You know, the failure to just basically understand how it is to be, how you go about being a decent human. That'd be nice. You know, what's expected of you in society. And then the idea that you can overlay, if you choose to, all the other bits. So yeah, it's amazing how society gets in the way of people being social and working together. You know, the way society is constructed, it is actually a hindrance to people being decent to one another. It gets in the way. It creates social strata so that you're unlikely to meet someone that doesn't, you know, come into that. I mean, that's kind of nuts. You know, we need some people that say, no, it needs to be a lot more comprehensible than that. A lot more doable. So yeah, I don't know. Just a dude walking in the woods. So, how did everybody get on with the new mantra? You know, end greed, end poverty, end hate, or we all die. Because I appreciate everybody's feedback, and Direct Current was very kind and actually produced a little bit of art that's going to be on the end of this episode, which was very cool of him, or them. And got a few responses. I'd really like to know if, I mean, I know one person's put it onto their social media. I don't know whether Urban Agogi gets copied to anything else. You know, it's nice and easy. You can decide whether you're for that idea or against it, but I think you've got to be real suspicious of anybody that's against ending greed, poverty and hate. I think, you know, at the moment they say, I'm against this, you really properly got to put them in Team B. You know, as in, stand to one side, we've got shit to do. And you're not being a team player. And I'm not a team player, I'm a bloody hermit. I don't see people face to face all that often. You know, outside of Zoom conversations, I don't get to hang out with many people, especially during this. Yeah, I'm prepared to be on team. You know, I'm the first person on this team. You know, we need to stop getting distracted by very real problems to a number of individuals, but those problems would be solved by solving the big one, you know? Like that Jesus bloke said, love thy neighbour, keep this and you obey all laws. So yeah, it's proper weird. Like we've known this for many thousands of years. But yeah, we've got to stop it. You know, we've got to look at who is capable of solving this problem. I mean, we all know who's capable of it. There are people that could sign checks on it right now and get on message with stopping it. You know, you ever notice that all the really poor countries on earth have some kind of natural resource that other people want? You know, they're poor and they're kept poor. There are individuals standing in the way of them not being poor. There are people that want to make an obscene amount of profit from selling a good or a service. So yeah, there are definitely some people that are easily identifiable as Team B, but that doesn't matter because there isn't a clearly identified bunch of people that are Team A. You know, if the Team A people outnumber, as I think they do, the Team B people by about 1,000 or more to 1, then we can do stuff. You know, like there are even laws. You know, if I had a following of 100,000 people, say, and I ordered them not to buy a product by a particular manufacturer because it was not good, I could be sued by that manufacturer in many countries in the world. Even if I've had a just cause for boycotting it, they have slowly and very carefully made boycotting illegal. They have made unions, in inverted commas, unnecessary by employing HR departments to ensure that a company does not fall foul of the law too often, and therefore unionisation won't happen in their workplace. You know. And all I'm asking is people not even to... Oh. Right, man.
You okay, man?
Yeah. And all I'm asking for is people to make an ideological decision. You know? And nobody wants to go out on a limb and face the persecution of saying there isn't much time left on the planet. Team A, Team B. Why are Team B in charge? Team B are generally not the best people for the job. Look at the government in your own country, wherever you're watching this. Are they the best person for the job? Genuinely. Are you looking at them and thinking, oh, I'm glad that person's doing that thing? You know, what are their motivations? Who do they owe their allegiances to? Because the majority of them owe allegiances to big corporations. They've got their head in the snout. The Republican Party haven't even, as a unified body, said, oh, Joe Biden won the election, despite all evidence to the contrary. So they're kind of like the Trump supporting equivalent of flat earthers. Despite all the evidence, some people want to be that. And that's fine if Steve, who believes the earth is flat, and he lives in a basement somewhere, and he's just got thousands of new clippings about other people saying the earth is flat, and he's not actually doing anything to hurt people. That's an entirely different thing. But when it's a government, people with armies at their disposal, people with nuclear weapons, people with the economic clout to destroy smaller countries. So them hesitating kinda makes other people wanting to do good shit hesitate as well. And I'm sorry I keep harping on about America, but America has, you know, as far as being a united nation, I'm talking about the United States of America, has been in existence for 234 years and change. Okay? 234 years. And they had the best start, the best piece of paper, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, to move forward and create a utopia so we could all follow suit. They're made up of some of our best and brightest world citizens. They got smart people. And let's be fair, they got the money and resources to make it happen. And in some places they do. But it's a bit like me declaring my house to be an anarchist commune. It doesn't make much difference to the world unless I can demonstrate people other than me can find it and it works. But I'm not really, on this particular jag, asking for anarchy. You know, I'm not asking for a far left revolution. I'm not even asking for people not to be, you know, on the right of centre. We've got to all come together and not be extreme for a minute and say, do we want life to continue for humans on this planet? And if we do, we've got to make some changes about the redistribution of wealth, the stratification of society, the division of society that needs to end so we can all be on board. You know, most countries have an unemployed segment of the population. Most countries have people that would otherwise be capable of doing some stuff, but the system has to fit everybody, so, you know, people fall through the cracks and shit. You know, we're all, at the moment we have surplus population. We can do pretty much anything. And we just need a system of government that works. And then, in the places that are democracy, if you have a system of government that works and people don't get all partisan about it, including the media, then we might be able to achieve something. But here's the thing. Nobody's ever really tried. Nobody's had a stab at it. Nobody's managed to get someone that's got a platform of many millions of people that can actually describe it, has bothered. Because the money is all on one side or the other. You're either far, far, far left and people listen to your stuff, or you're far, far, far right and people listen to your stuff. And we get increasingly, this is the problem with social media as it exists today, it increasingly divides people to the point where they can't conceive of somebody else having another opinion after you've made a few selections on, say, YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. Who do you follow? Do you follow someone you don't agree with? So yeah, this is an issue. And our problems on this planet are all kind of ideological. So yeah. So I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to bore you rigid. I don't know how long I've been yabbering for, but it's been a while. And I'm going to go home, I'm going to have a cup of tea and edit this and put it up with all the other stuff, including the Minecraft vids. I put all that up today, and I did a lovely podcast with Vagdu. I'm just waiting for him to get back to me on that and put that up. So you get essentially 4 bits of media. Lucky old you. Speak to you soon. Remember, end hate, well, end greed, end poverty, and end hate, or we all die. Simple as. Now check out the nice piece of artwork that Direct Current sent. Take care.